The Eastern Washington University Alumni Association is pleased to introduce the 2011 Distinguished Alumni Award winners. The award for outstanding achievement in professional endeavors is given to an alumnus who has a strong record of career achievements. This year, the award goes to Dr. Jamie Manson. Dr. Manson graduated from Eastern in 1994, returning in 2003 to join the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry as an associate professor. He is passionate about teaching and research and has not only received grants from the National Science Foundation, but is known internationally for his work in the field of inorganic chemistry.
So to kind of put it in perspective, the idea is much like when we're children and we play with Legos and Tinker Toys, we take blocks of certain sizes and shapes and put them together to make different kinds of structures, build houses and cars or whatever the case may be. We're actually have adopted a very similar approach, except we're using actual molecules and putting them together much like Legos. And so we're using, we're sticking them together with chemical bonds and things like this, and we're coming up with sort of pre-designed architectures that may have some interesting magnetic properties. Going back to my high school days, is when I really fell in love with chemistry and physics as well, and the possible connection between those two different disciplines is kind of what fueled me. It just sort of was, I guess, natural to be able to blend research and teaching, which I enjoy immensely, working with undergraduates and getting them involved with science and getting them excited about science. I owe essentially all of my professional achievements to my start here at Eastern, and start something big I did, and went on to grad school and had the opportunity to come back and teach here at Eastern as a professor in a department of chemistry. And so coming full circle has an enormous meaning to me as well.
The award for community building goes to an alumnus who has worked to promote equity and to advance underrepresented groups. This year, the award goes to Dave Carter. Carter graduated in 1977 and has been a public defender with the County of Spokane for more than 20 years, guiding juveniles through the judicial system. In his career, Carter has represented more than 5,000 troubled youth and has dedicated himself to improving life for the most vulnerable population.
When I got out of law school, I went into private practice for about 3 years. Decided that I wanted to do something different actually after that, and actually I'd always wanted to be a teacher and a coach. My teachers and my coaches were my heroes when I was growing up through school.
Well, what has drawn me to this is that I grew up in an alcoholic home. It was a very difficult experience to grow up in, and when I got to the public defender's office and started working with youth from troubled homes, I found that my own experience growing up allowed me to relate very well to these children and work with them in the court system, and so I found it to be a very rewarding experience.
So how have you been?
Had a good weekend. How about you?
What we can do as a community to better support troubled youth is to support funding for education, and particularly support funding for preschool Head Start educational funding. We can get involved in mentor-mentee programs, but particularly we need to get involved with children at a very young age.
But I get to work with them at a level that not other people could work with them at, because they need to trust their lawyer, and so I got to do a lot of counseling with the kids as well as represent them in court, and I found that to be just very rewarding.
The award for service to the community goes to an alumnus who's contributed significantly in community or university service through sharing or volunteer work. This year, the award goes to Larry Soren. Soren graduated in 1981 and is Vice President and COO of Kimmel & Haygood, Spokane's largest commercial real estate services company. Soren has spent countless hours working with various civic, nonprofit, and other professional organizations to improve our region's economy, vibrancy, and quality of life. The two most outstanding examples of his work are with the YMCA and the Public Facilities District.
Convention Center, I came in right when we were starting to build the new exhibit hall, and that's been a game changer for Spokane and the ability to attract bigger conventions and more business. Right now we're in the planning phase to try to expand that even further. The YMCA is being a part of a very big team that changed the way the Y does business in Spokane and expanding our footprint and taking an organization that had 25,000 members and almost overnight went to 44,000 members, and impacting health and wellness in this community has been pretty gratifying. It certainly was a large group of people pushing the ball, so it was nice to be a small piece of that. In all these years, I've been lucky to be involved in a lot of different projects in bricks and mortar, the convention center or the YMCA buildings, downtown. But you know, I think one thing that really gets me is every year I'm involved in an organization called Fantasy Flight, and we take homeless and foster kids on a one-day fantasy trip to the North Pole. We're all in costumes, we all go by elf names, and when you can get down and see a child who's not having a great life probably, whatever their circumstances, and put a smile on their face for a day and let them forget all that and just be a kid, that kind of gets you. And I think that's the part that can keep you going. I was lucky that I was raised by a family that valued community service and came to a company that values community service. We're blessed to continue that forward for all of us.
Congratulations to all three of our distinguished Alumni Award winners. Your success is a source of pride for the entire Eastern Washington University family.